Let's be realistic. Nigeria is not just a crime scene. Nigeria is not just a country where crime happens. If you want to be realistic, Nigeria happens to be a country where crime has learned how to organize itself. What I'm talking right now, what I'm talking right here, a system whereby fraud has been dressed up as a business, a system where extortion is dressed up as a protection. I'm talking about a system where land theft is dressed up as a family dispute. I am talking about a system where intimidation is dressed up as a local enforcement. We need to understand what I'm talking about here is a system where corruption is dressed up as politics and where people who should be punished are often protected. Sometimes they are promoted or maybe they are recycled back into power, like we're seeing that is playing on. It has been in our generation for years to recycle corrupt politicians back into power. That exactly is the Nigeria that we need to talk about. Let's talk about this.
This is the Catalyst Confluence. Rooted in reason.
At this point, crime is no longer limited to the streets. We all need to understand that crime is everywhere, is in every corner of Nigeria. Name one thing in Nigeria, name one office, name one organization, or any encounter, either in transportation, in our election. Just name one encounter that you not see a traces of fraud. Name one thing, just one thing. We need to understand that crime is in the everyday survival tactics of Nigerian people. Those who have learned to bend the rules because the system itself has already been corrupt. It has been bent. If you look at Nigeria of today, let's assume you don't live in Nigeria, or a foreigner is coming to Nigeria for investment or whatever. They are going through the airport, right? And the airport happened to be like what I call let me remember now. What I call the first impression that you have about someone or something or an entity. Your first impression. Our airport is the face of the nation. When someone, a foreigner or anybody is coming, that is their first expression. I don't know if you people understand. But does that look like a country that is void of corruption? When someone is coming in, landed at our airport, trying to check himself or herself out, and the first thing they were greeted with is, "Wait till you bring home, or God do well for us." All those bad behavior, all those little things that we tend to look away from. That is where it starts from. Because for me, traveling from one place to other, I don't know of others, but those that I have visited, that are even African country, I have never witnessed where people will want to snatch your bag away or people will want to extort you of your money. But in Nigeria, the moment you landed at the airport, the extortion starts. Right from the immigration all the way to those at the gate of the airport. Every little one of them want to get something out of you. And if you are not careful, you blink, your bags, your luggage, they are gone. Now, let's just put that aside and kind of go a little bit deeper. You will understand that in a sane society, land should be one of the most secure form of ownership. And I'm going to say it again, that in a sane society, land should be one of the most secure form of ownership. What you will believe is that you buy land, you do all your verification, your document, you register your property, and you start building. Very simple, right? That is how things should go. But I tell you that in Nigeria of today, land can become a trap. Land can be the reason why you are dead. You can buy, and I mean you can buy a piece of land from one family today, do everything you think you are supposed to do. And then another family suddenly rises up and says that the land belongs to them. Trust me, sometimes the dispute is real. These people are genuine. because someone stole their land and sell it without their notice. And sometimes it's a conniving effort. A land is sold to one person today. Then that same land is resold again to another person. And then sold again to another person. And once money enter, and I mean, once money enter the picture and the truth begin to be buried under pressure, lies, and threats. And if that is not enough, you are being threatened with charms. Yes, it gets involved with voodoos. Now, the buyer is stuck. The person who sold the land is gone, nowhere to be found. Now the new people making claims and loud with their presented document. The documents are being challenged. The project is stalled. And what was supposed to be an investment becomes a war. And let me say this, if you are lucky enough, probably you haven't started any project on the land. They may want to negotiate with you and you may be asked to pay some fair price if you are still interested in the land. You have to repay or rebuy the land. But if you are unlucky enough, you have structure on the land or you have project going on the land, the first thing they will address you with is not to rebuy the land. They will ask you to move your structure off the land, which they knew is nearly impossible because it's going to be a loss of money. Now, if you now approach that, okay, how can we settle this? They will ask you to rebuy the land. But this time, you are paying 10 times more than what you pay for the land initially. Because it's either you move your structure or you rebuy the land at inflated price. And to me, that is not just bad administration. That is organized deceit. That is organized crime. That is how crime operates in a broad daylight. What can you do about it? Tell me, what can you do about it? Now, let's dive in a little more deeper because I want us to see how rotten we have become, okay? A lot of people don't understand how common this has become. Now, you start a project, maybe a building, maybe you're trying to build a shopping complex, maybe a roadwork contract, whatever it could be. You start a project, right? Suddenly, and I mean suddenly, some people just showed up. They show up not because you did anything wrong. They show up not because they come with legal papers, not because they have a court order. They show up not because the showing up is legitimate or probably they have legitimate complaint about your project. The only reason why they show up is because they want to intimidate you. They show up with force. They come in numbers. Sometimes they're in different groups. Their main objective is to extort you. They will come and tell you that this work you are doing cannot continue. They tell you to come and settle their boss. They are in different fashion. So you have to pay them in different fashion or you pay who happen to be the most powerful. Because they will tell you to pay before the project move forward. They are ready to delay the project. They always come when you have your cement mixed. And if you refuse, they can delay you. They will threaten you. They will vandalize every materials you have on ground. Or they will create a chaos so that your project become too expensive to continue with. That is extortion. Plain and simple. What we need to understand is that sometimes this is being disguised as a local influence. Or they will tell you it's a protection arrangement. They will tell you if you want this project to be secure while you are building it, you have to pay the boys. That is criminal taxation. And you see, the most dangerous part of this is that many honest people eventually pay just to survive so that the project will not stall. That means the system teaches people a terrible lesson. If you want peace, you have to pay for it. It doesn't come cheap. If you want your project to move forward, whatever the project could be, even if the project is benefiting the community. I've seen a case where someone is trying to build a road for his community and the boys come around that, before you move on, you have to pay us. If you want your project to move, buy your permission, or else we vandalize everything. I'm saying this right now. That is not a nation of law. That is a nation of intimidation. That some people will tell you, even though what you are doing is benefiting them, they don't care. Their mind has been conditioned for extortion. And I tell you, when corruption moves into power, this is where many people get angry. And rightly so. Because Nigerian watch people accused of financial misconduct, money misappropriation, abuse of office, or betrayal of public trust. Do you know what happened? Things continue. They continue to move around freely. These same people still seeking power. They are still getting support. They still become serious candidates during election. In fact, they happen to be the one that they will be nominated in their party to be their flag bearer, someone who is facing crime. That is one of the deepest insults to the public, because what message does that send? It says that wrongdoing does not necessarily mean the end to your ambition. A governor can steal money. Allegedly, there will be no any proper findings. And that same governor will be the one to be their senatorial candidate. It says public outrage is temporary. That's what I mean. That's what it means to me. It says that the system is not built to cleanse itself. It is built to absorb scandal and then move on. That is why many people feel hopeless, because they believe nothing can change, nothing can be done. Not because they don't understand the corruption, but because they see how easily corruption survives in Nigeria. They see how allegations disappear into politics. I mean, just look around. Look at all your leaders. How many of them do not have a case of corruption? They see allegations disappear into politics. They will see how shame gets replaced by strategy. They see how public trust is treated like costume that can be removed whenever convenient. And we need to understand that once that becomes normal, politics is no longer about service anymore. Politics become a shelter for people who know how to survive accusation. Because if your party is the one ruling, steal as much as you can, you are safe, your crime is forgiven. Just steal as a governor and come back and get the senatorial ticket. And you will realize that crime has become something that is being celebrated daily. Look around. Just look around you. Look at your business, your organization, the factory you work, your office. You will see how people cheat their way to power. You will see how people cheat in a contract. Go to the market and you will see how people manipulate their weight, their congo of gari, how it is being beaten, or something was put inside just to reduce the amount of volume. Just look back in your office and see how people demand bribes before they can carry out their jobs. Look at your school. Do you see how people pay for results? Do you go into our election today? Our election has become buying and selling. Do you have money? I give you my vote. In public service, people protect the guilty ones and the weak get punished. So crime is not one thing in Nigeria. It is a language that we speak every day. It is a method people use when they believe honesty will not protect them. And that is the real tragedy, because in Nigeria of today, if you are not corrupt, you'll be frowned upon. They look at you like, okay, what's going on? Why are you not corrupt? Trust me. When crime becomes the easiest route to making money, when crime is a way to get influence and survival, then the country stop rewarding merit and they start rewarding what I call manipulation. That is how the case spread. That is how cancer spread. A cancerous country. It comes quietly at first. then everywhere is spread. But one thing we forget to understand is that there's a cost to this, and that cost is beyond our border. The cost of corruption is not limited to our country. It goes beyond our border. And let me say it this way. A country's internal corruptions always travel with its people. When a nation becomes known for fraud, extortion, when a nation is rooted in corruption, the citizens carry the weight and the burden, they carry it abroad. Just listen to what happened to, is it Taiwo Aina? Yeah, Taiwo Aina. I heard about this story, how he was humiliated. Why? Because he carried that Nigerian passport. You don't know that in some airports today, the moment you showed up at that airport with that green passport named Nigeria on it, you get a special treatment in a very bad way, because they will skin you from your head to your toe. And the only reason you are getting that treatment is because you are coming from a corrupt country. They will ask you to go and pull by all means. They want to check if you carry anything inside you. Not because they don't have machine that can detect that without humiliating you, but they just want to make sure they did so, because you are used to humiliation. You are used to corruption. And due to that, every honest Nigerian has to fight a suspicion they did not create. At the airport, you will fight it because they will look at you differently. If you're going for visa interview, you get special treatment in a bad way. If you are going to job application, just because you are Nigeria, they look at you differently. Name it. In any foreign country, people are probably extra careful in dealing with Nigeria when it comes to business transaction. People don't always see the individuals. They see the reputation as a whole. They see the country reputation as a whole. Maybe that's what we don't understand. It follows you everywhere, like your shadow. The moment they see you are from Nigeria, it triggers something. It raises a red flags. And that is what I call the cost that we pay for national decay. The criminal minority damages the credibility of the innocent majority. That's what's going on. Many of you don't know that it can be a roadblock coming from Nigeria. That is why this problem is bigger than money. It is bigger than politics. Trust me, it is bigger than one scandal or one project or one election cycle. No, it follows you everywhere. It is about what kind of country Nigeria is becoming. What kind of country Nigeria is becoming in the eyes of its own people and those outside the world. That is what is going on. We can't let this continue to happen. We can't start standing behind all these old men in politics, ruining it for us. We are saying crime has become embedded in our daily life. We are saying that projects can be held hostage by thugs. What I'm saying is that corruption can mature into political ambition because all our politics, they are from one family also. We are saying the same system that should protect the people is the same system that people fear the most. And I'm saying all of this because pretending otherwise is part of the problem. We can't we cannot continue to pretend this doesn't happen. Nigeria does not just have criminal. Nigeria has criminal pattern, criminal insensitives, criminal habit. This is not me telling you a story about bad people. This is a story about a broken structure that teaches people how to participate in wrongdoing just to get by. And until that structure is confronted, until we expose and breaking them apart, crime will continue, or crime will keep finding new corners to hide. I want you to know that Nigeria is not just a place where crime happens. Nigeria has become a place where crime has learned how to organize itself. This is a culture of criminal survivor, a structure that teaches people to cheat, A structure that teaches people to extort, to intimidate, and to look the other way. And until that structure is broken, crime will keep operating in every corner of our country. And with all this, you will agree with me that calling Nigeria a crime scene is not overreach, because I don't have any other name for it. I hope we can come together as people and face the real cause of our problem. Crime is everywhere, and we must desist from being a contributor to that crime. We must take a stand of where we belong. Are you going to be part of the problem, or are you willing to make a solution, to stand out, to stand for what is right, to stand for what is just, to stand for truth? Are you going to stand for integrity regardless of what it will cost you? Or will you sell your conscience for money? I leave that to you to decide. May God bless you. May God bless Nigeria. May God give us a good turnaround. May God give us a leader that will see to the need of the people. May God give us a leader that is ready to serve and not to be served. That's going to be it on Catalyst Conference today. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.
On another episode of Catalyst Confluence, we are rooted in reason. If this hit different, share, subscribe, follow. Tell somebody who needs to hear this. I'm your host, Caleb Adediji. And remember, truth over comfort.
Every single time.